Today, we've got something really unique. We're looking at the 200th issue of the Waldenstrom's Weekly.
Which is a huge milestone.
A massive milestone. And this isn't just an article or two. It's a full-on organizational newsletter from the IWMF, the International Waldenstrom's Macroglobulinemia Foundation.
Yeah.
It really charts their journey since, February 2021.
Exactly. So our mission today really is to slice through all this information and pull out the most important, the most actionable nuggets for you.
Right.
We're talking strategic shifts, support services, research, everything, because you can see their whole mission support, education, finding a cure. It's all happening in these pages.
It really is a snapshot of them scaling that mission. You see everything from board-level strategy to these very specific support groups. It's a holistic approach for sure.
It is. It's this complex balancing act, and we get to look right behind the curtain.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We have to start with the big picture items right at the top of their special announcements section. The IWMF board just had a big strategic retreat.
Yeah, and this is a major signal for their long-term plans. You've got 12 board members, the president and CEO, and a facilitator. They met in Chicago November 8th and 9th.
So what's the takeaway for the community?
The takeaway is that they confirm their priorities for the 2026 strategic plan. So that means they're mapping out their spending, their research focus, everything for the next few years. It signals real stability and forward thinking.
And I love the rhythm here. Right after that high-level corporate sounding stuff, they bring it right back to the patient. They feature a story of hope update with Sharon Piotrowski. And her quote, "It's just." She called Living with WM a journey of resilience, community, and hope.
That pivot is so important, isn't it? It just grounds everything. It's a reminder that the strategic plan, all that work, it's all for that person's journey.
And that community spirit, it keeps going. They mentioned November is IWF Gratitude Month. They asked people, what are you grateful for? And the response from patients, caregivers, even doctors.
It was overwhelming.
It literally filled their gratitude jar to overflowing. And they remind you, if you're listening, there is still a week left to participate.
That kind of engagement is tough to maintain. It says a lot about the bonds in that community.
Okay, so from community bonds to global connections, there's a big international event coming up. WM Scandinavia is hosting a Zoom webinar.
Right. This is on November 25th from 7:00 to 8:00 p.m. Central European Time. But look at who the speaker is.
Who is it?
Lena Brandefors. She's a senior physician, yes, but more importantly, she chairs the group developing Sweden's national care program for WM.
Oh, wow. So she's not just an expert. She's literally setting the clinical standards for a whole country.
Exactly. So attendees are getting insights right from the person shaping national policy. That's incredible access.
And getting access is pretty simple. If you're a member, you just use their Facebook group. If not, you email office@iwmf.com for the login. Super straightforward.
No barriers, which is critical for a rare disease where expertise can be, really concentrated in just a few places.
All right, now here's where that theme of transformation really kicks in, this part. This is where it gets really interesting.
The home office update.
Yes. The IWMF is transitioning to a fully remote operating model.
And this is a huge strategic move. It's not just logistics. The physical office in Sarasota, Florida is closing on December 15th.
So what does that signal to you?
It signals that virtualization is the new standard for these kinds of global health foundations. I mean, think about it. You're serving a community that's spread all over the world. Many are immunocompromised. A physical office almost seems outdated.
Counterintuitive, yeah.
Right. This move optimizes their resources, and it makes sure their work can continue no matter what's happening in the world.
It's a very 21st century move. And for anyone listening, this is a key actionable piece of info. You'll need the new mailing address. It's 1449 S Michigan Ave, STE 13329, Chicago, IL 60605.
Absolutely. That's one of those little nuggets you just, file away immediately.
So if they're transforming their physical presence, it makes you wonder how they're measuring success and patient experience in this new digital world.
And that leads perfectly to the research they mentioned next.
Exactly. A recently published paper on quality of life questionnaires.
Yeah, this is so important. It's patient-centered research hitting a really fundamental question. They surveyed 120 patients and 34 healthcare professionals to see if the tools we use in clinical trials.
The questionnaires.
Right, the questionnaires. To see if they actually capture what matters most to people with WM.
So what's wrong with the current tools? Why might they not be good enough?
Well, it's a great question, isn't it? A lot of these tools were designed for, say, solid tumors, so they focus on things like pain or nausea.
Mm.
But with WM, you have these really pervasive chronic symptoms.
Like extreme fatigue or neuropathy.
Exactly. And those things might not be properly measured by the old tools. So this research is about making sure the patient's lived reality is what drives how we measure outcomes. It's so critical.
And that focus on the patient experience is a perfect bridge to the next section, on education. They highlight this massive recorded event, Waldenstrom's Unplugged, a conversation with Dr. Jorge Castillo.
This was monumental. It happened on October 23rd, and you had over 300 support group members there from all over the world.
Wow. But it wasn't just a big lecture, was it? The structure seems to be the key thing here.
Not at all. That's the real innovation.
Sure.
Of course, you get the amazing medical insight from Dr. Castillo. He's a top world expert from Dana-Farber. He did a huge Q&A.
Okay.
But then, and this is the logistical genius of it, participants were moved into 26 concurrent virtual breakout groups.
26 at the same time. That sounds incredibly hard to manage.
It is. But think about what it achieves. You merge this high-level medical info with immediate peer-to-peer emotional support. So you get the facts, and then right away you have a safe space to process it, to talk about your anxieties.
All while the information is fresh in your mind.
Exactly. That model is basically a blueprint for how to do virtual rare disease support effectively.
That level of support, it just flows right into the next section, starting with financial assistance for U.S. patients.
Yeah, and the financial stress of cancer is just enormous. They list 3 partners with open WM copay funds right now: the PAN Foundation, HealthWell Foundation, and Blood Cancer United.
What's the key message there?
Urgency. These funds open and close all year depending on how much money they have. So if you need help with out-of-pocket costs, you really need to act fast and check if you're eligible right away.
Got it. So act now, and then beyond financial help, we see this incredible breadth of their affinity groups. It's like a strategy to make sure every single person can find their own connection point.
Absolutely. It recognizes that a diagnosis is just one part of your identity. For instance, tomorrow they have the Young WM Affinity Group meeting.
Right, that's for pre-retirement age patients and caregivers.
Yep. Then as you look into December, you see the WM People of Color meeting on December 5th. The next day, there's the LGBTQ plus affinity group.
It's so specific and so thoughtful.
And it gets even more specialized. They have a meeting for the Bing-Neal affinity group. And, you know, for context, Bing-Neal is a very rare, serious neurological complication of WM.
So it's a global group for a very specific need.
Exactly. And because of that, they're offering 2 meeting times on December 7th, or the 8th for Australia and New Zealand to cover all the time zones. One at 1:30 p.m. Eastern and another at 6:00 p.m. Eastern.
They wrap it up with the IWMF Military Veterans Meeting on December 18th, hosted by a Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
Just making sure that group has their own space, too.
But the thing I really want to zoom in on here is the launch of a brand new group, the Caregiver Support Group.
Oh, that's so important.
It is. They just launched it on November 12th. They had 18 people show up. And the mix of attendees was fascinating. It wasn't just people supporting a loved one.
Who else was there?
There are people who have WM in themselves, but are also caregivers for someone else. It just shows that dual burden that so many people carry.
Wow. That's a layer of complexity I hadn't even considered. So it's a needed outlet.
A vital outlet. And it's now set to meet every other month. The next one is in January. So if you're a caregiver, that's a new resource you should know about.
Finally, let's touch on their integrative wellness offerings. They frame it all under this idea of living well with WM.
Right. The idea that wellness complements standard medical care. It's not an alternative. It's a complement.
And the variety is huge. This isn't just an afterthought. You have things like yoga nidra for relaxation. You have chair yoga for movement.
Slow flow yoga. They've got a deep schedule running through November and into December.
The philosophy seems really clear. They're providing tools to manage the daily non-medical stress of it all. They even have things like a sound bath and a class called The Joy of Music, and it's all on Zoom.
All accessible. And a quick reminder for you, if you can't make a live session, the IWMF YouTube channel is this massive library. It has over 600 videos.
600.
600. Everything from these wellness classes to all the expert medical lectures. And they even have a separate monthly newsletter just for wellness. They make it incredibly easy to stay in the loop.
So if we wrap all this up, this deep dive into the 200th issue, the theme is really clear. It's dynamic, strategic evolution. You have this organization making massive future-facing decisions, like going fully remote, while at the same time just relentlessly expanding their virtual support to meet every possible niche need.
And that milestone, 200 issues, is proof they are committed to communication. The Director of Information and Support, Shelley Postek, she even noted how remarkable the newsletter's growth has been.
And they're not done.
Not at all. They're putting out a survey to get reader feedback, to keep refining how they communicate. They want their communication to be as robust as their support.
I did love the fun little detail they threw in there. To celebrate the 200th issue, the 200th person to open the newsletter gets a gift.
It's a nice little touch for the digital age, isn't it?
It is.
But if we tie this all back to that bigger picture, especially that structural shift to being fully remote, and you pair that with their ability to do these really complex virtual events like the 26 breakout groups after Dr. Castillo's talk, it just signals a massive change.
Right.
So it leaves you with this important question to think about. How might this complete elimination of a physical office fundamentally alter the future of peer-to-peer connection and specialized medical education, not just for the WM community, but as a model for other rare disease foundations? Something for you to mull or explore on your own.
A question that really could define the future of rare disease support. And that's it for this deep dive. We hope you feel thoroughly informed.